Come to order. Please stand for
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, City Council, Mayor, City Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, August 7th, 2017. And at this time, Mr. Chair and Council, I'd like to take roll call. Councilwoman Abdo. Councilman Barden.
here.
Councilwoman Choate.
Here.
Councilman Kraut.
Here.
Councilwoman Makowski.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
And Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay.
Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. Number 4, chairperson's report. 5 is the mayor's report. 6A is the clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. And number 11 is adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Makowski for approval of the agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Here.
Ms. Choate?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 2 are the minutes, and for approval is item 2A, and these are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on July 24th, 2017.
So moved for July 24th, 2017.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo for approval of the minutes from our regular council meeting, which was held on July 24th, 2017. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Abstain.
Chair votes yes, minutes approved.
Item 2B, for approval are the minutes from the special meetings held on Monday, July 24th, 2017. There was a closed session to discuss attorney opinion and an open session to discuss the new city voting equipment. Motion would be in order to approve those special meeting minutes.
So move for approval of the minutes for the special meetings on July 24th.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Roscoe. And this is for the approval of the minutes from our special meeting held, which was on Monday, July 24th, 2017. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Makowski?
Abstain.
Mrs. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. And number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I'd like to say very great weekend this weekend. It was Relay for Life activities, and the people really came together in this community in Romulus to support this great cause of the horrible disease they call cancer. I've seen so many dedicated people giving their time and effort in trying to help find a cure for this disease. Dedicated their time, their friends, all of them joined together. They really, really put their hearts in this event. And it's very touching to see how Romulus residents come together for a cause for everyone. So it's good to live in Romulus, and it's good to give to a great cause like the Cancer Society. At this time, I'm going to yield the floor to Mr. Kraut.
Oh, thank you very much, John. I'm making a memorial resolution for the Peter Webb Johnson, who passed away last week.
I'll support that.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Makowski for memorial resolution. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. I'm also going to yield the floor for Mr. Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barden. And before I get to what you just yielded for, I have the same feelings that you did about the event this weekend. I was very impressed, very impressed. It really unbelievable. With all that, I like a memorial resolution for Michael A. Plank, please.
Support that.
Well, Mike Planker, as a lot of people called him Mickey, was the son of the former director of the DPW, Robert Plank. He was the brother to employee Susie Toner, Craig Plank, and he was the uncle to police officer Keith Haynes. I knew him for a long time. He was a good worker at the DPW, and he retired recently. And unfortunately, he put up the best battle he could of his life, but it took him this past weekend. And there is no service, but there's going to be a celebration of life this weekend. It'll be at the Progressive Hall on Oscar Road. It'll be on Saturday the 12th. It'll be from 12 noon until 6 p.m. And we encourage people to come by and share your memories. And in lieu of flowers, donations are welcome and made payable to Donna Plank. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. At this time, I'd like to bring up to the podium St. John's Lodge 44, Mr. Jones and lodge members.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Mr. Barton. We're here to push our annual youth day that we have every year, where we give the school supplies away and the other activities we have for our youth in the community, in Romulus and the surrounding communities. We're going to be, it's going to be August the 26th, starting at noon, from noon till 5. We'll be passing out the school supplies probably around 2 or 3. We have other activities going on. We always have the city always come out and help us tremendous. You've always been a big help to us. And on that note, I also like to thank the city for their help and support our fish fry that also funds this event. Then we're going to have the mobile dentist, which is to come out for the kids. We're going to have a petting zoo. We're going to have bouncers, cotton candy, popcorn, and a whole lot more activities for the kids in the community. So we asked, and a couple of giveaways. So we asked everyone to please come out and help support. We are still taking donations to help this event. Like I said, I've always wanted this to be the biggest giveaway in Wayne County. So we ask you to, if you would, to continue to support us if you have done in the past. And we still want to say thank you in advance, because we know that it's going to turn out to be a great event, because Romulus is the best kept secret in the state. And we all know that when we come together, it's nothing but a good event. I have with me my senior warden, Brother Curtis Hall, and my junior warden, Brother Charles Smith. Would you like to have something to say?
Just briefly, what the worshipful master failed to mention is that we also have a bunch of hamburgers and hot dogs
all the food you can
to get out there. Just come and eat and drink. And we have water, Kool-Aid, pop, chips, and like you said, a bunch of fun, a bunch of contests. We'll have the children with the tug of war, the watermelon eating contest. Just a lot of fun, sack races and everything. So we're hoping for good weather and just a lot of people to come out and support and just come have a good time, get filled up on hot dogs and hamburgers, and just come out and have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, on behalf of St. John's Lodge 44, I would like to acknowledge what a great job the mayor and the council has always done in supporting us as well. One of the things that we know for sure is that when we all come together, when we forget what used to be, and we strive for the future of what can be, love and communication supersedes everything else. As we come together and join hand in hand to work to improve, as we strive to improve the fellowship and the community itself, is the greatest accomplishment that we can achieve as human beings. So we would like to just extend once again an opportunity for you to come out, see who we are, and enjoy the fun with us. God bless you. Thank you.
Well, the sack races are also for the children, by the way, in case, I'd like to see Mr. Martin in the sack, for sure.
And we will be getting the softball game set up.
Uh-oh.
Why did you
And-
mention that? 'Cause you know he's going.
We
Oh.
did do the horseshoes.
You don't do no baseball no more?
We're going to do the baseball.
Okay.
See, there you go.
But we did do the horseshoes. Since you don't come out, you won't come out for that one.
I send Roger over there. And
We both had the trophy on the horseshoes.
Mayor, you want to say something?
I just wanted to echo the thanks from the city standpoint. I know from all of us, we appreciate, all the work you put in. You do these fundraisers, but you're helping kids, and that's what it's all about. That's our future. And so if it's fish fries or, youth days or other events, and we're blessed to have you, and you're doing good work. Keep that going. The only sack I'm going to be in is the one at home. I want to get in a sack race, but I know better. But no, we appreciate all the fun activities you do and sponsorships and your influence in lives, and that's what we're here to do, right? So, on behalf of the city, thank you very much for all you do.
And lastly, Mr. Mayor, since you mentioned your home, I would like to say on behalf of St. John's Lot number 44, we extend a hearty thank you for inviting us to your home for the 4th of July celebration. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed it myself immensely, and we appreciate that. Just want you to know that.
Always welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes, I know I spoke to a few of you individually, but I just want to say on behalf of the teachers in Romulus, we want to thank you for the books, our book bags, as you're getting these kids ready for school. It's so nice to see them on the first day ready because of you guys. We see the impact, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. At this time, that's going to conclude the chairperson's report.
Make a motion that we accept the chairperson's report.
I'll support it.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to accept the chairperson's report. Mrs. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and audience. Good to see everyone here tonight. The quote goes as this, Mr. Chairman, sometimes you get to choose your battles, and sometimes they choose you. And that's cancer. That's that walk you talked about. That's that relay event. It's more than just a walk. I tell you what, I went to the Saturday morning, there most of the day. I was proud of Romulus. And whenever something like this happens, you can't thank everybody, but I tell you what, Shona Sylvie Baum definitely deserves a big thanks. I know she got involved in this because of her sister and Team Cindy, but so many people came together. I was just proud to be in Romulus. And I think you even heard it from St. John's, when you come together for a good event, that was one good event. Didn't matter who you were, what walk of life. I mean, who in here has been impacted by cancer? I mean, I have, right?
Yes.
I mean, so the only thing I say is, if we do this again, let's pull more teams in, get involved, because it was very rewarding to see people that were there, to see, I think, was it 24 teams, something like that in total, went on for 24 hours. Just a beautiful, beautiful event. So if you were involved in it, thank you. If you contributed some way, thank you. If you didn't, let's get you on board next year. Jump in and let's help. So, great event, great weekend. The Romulus team was the Frayers. I have to give them a shout out. Gosh, they really worked their tail off for the team Romulus. Also want to give out a thanks to my awesome chief of staff, Julie Waitoko, stepped in for me the last meeting, covered things. It's good when you have a good team because when things run smooth and they keep moving forward and getting results, I just want to let her know and the rest of the team how much I appreciate them. Thank you. We have a quick video clip, correct, Roger? So if we could run that, please, just with some of the upcoming events. Too much to mention, but I'll let you fire away with that.
Hi everyone, here's what's coming up around Romulus. The Romulus Farmers Market continues on Wednesdays at the Historical Park from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The next Sounds in Downtown concert is this Friday, August 11th, featuring D-Var and the Detroiters with boogie and blues music beginning at 7 p.m. A new archery league continues this week on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. at the range at Elmer Johnson Park. The third annual Roman Chrome Charity Poker Run to support the City of Romulus Veterans Outreach Committee is this Saturday, August 12th, with registration beginning at 10 a.m. at Blue Sky. Romulus Firefighters Local 4126 is hosting a chili cook-off and cornhole tournament fundraiser to benefit a firefighter that is battling a rare nervous system disorder on August 19th also at Blue Sky starting at 10 a.m. The annual Romulus Police Officers Association golf outing will be held on Friday, August 25th at the Links at Gateway. Registration is $90 per person. Also on August 25th will be the Cemetery Board's Pig Roast fundraiser at the Historical Park Pavilion beginning at 6 p.m. until the food runs out. Admission is $10 per person. And finally, we would like to send a big congratulations to the first ever Romulus Relay for Life on a super successful inaugural year and raising of over $45,000. We thank the planning committee and all the team captains for their countless hours of dedication. Donations are still accepted until the end of this month to help us reach our goal of $50,000. And anyone interested can take them to Comerica Bank at Goddard and Shook downtown. Thank you all for your support. For more information on any of these events, please remember to visit our website, romulusgov.com, or like us on Facebook. Thanks, and have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Roger. One other just... thank you, Roger. Just said that. CSX has the Goddard Road a little bit disrupted, so if you're going from Hunt to Shook Road this week, they're doing repairs needed, but they have to disrupt the road a little bit, so be mindful of that as you're heading downtown and kind of zigzagging around that, and also just obey all the signs and speed limits through that area. Those are my informational items. I do have some action items, quite a few tonight, so why don't we get into those. The first item up is item 5A, and there's actually two requests with that particular one. This came as a recommendation from Maria Lambert, DDA Director. And the first one is a motion to concur with administration and authorize the closure of Hunt Street, and that's going to be between Goddard and Bibbins beginning 8 a.m. and the closure of Goddard Road from Moore Street to the railroad tracks beginning at 12 p.m. on Friday, September 15th of this year, and ending at 8 p.m. Sunday, the 17th. And we all know what that's for.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, and this is for the 2017 Pumpkin Festival activities. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And the second item, which we all know kicks off the Pumpkin Fest, is the Parade of Lights, and you have a request to concur with administration, authorize the closure of Goddard Road, beginning at Wayne Road and ending at 5 Points from 7 p.m. on Friday, September 15th, reopening at 10 p.m. Friday that same evening, and that's for the Rotary Parade of Lights.
Support.
So moved.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Makowski. This is also for the 2017 Pumpkin Festival activities and fees. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item B came as a recommendation from Lynn Conway, Purchasing Director, and Steve Dudek, Technology Services Director. And it's a request to award and extend RFP 12/13-36 through June 30th of 2018 for licensing and maintenance of Highland on-base modules currently utilized throughout the city with applied imaging at a cost of $11,591.60, as well as the professional services needed from applied imaging at the hourly rate of $160 per hour. Those funds have been verified and budgeted and come out of the Technology Services Maintenance Contract Expense Account.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the RFP 1213-36 on-base software maintenance, one-year contract extension. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next, item C, there's also two motions of action on this one, and this came as a recommendation from Lynn Conway, Purchasing Director, and TIFA Board. The first one is actually, and this is much-needed work at the Romulus Athletic Center. The first motion will be to concur with the administration and reject the only bid received for ITB 16/17-12 for the replacement of the carpet in the concession area at the rack, since the bids did not meet the bid minimum specifications.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for ITB 16/17-12 rack carpet replacement. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the second part of that motion is actually the solution, which is to concur with the administration and waive the bidding requirements for the Romulus Code of Ordinance, Chapter 39-9B, Materials, Goods, and Purchases, and allow for needed carpet to be purchased through ProSource in the amount of $8,813, and for the carpet to be installed at a cost of $4,597.05 by John Wary in the concession area of the Romulus Athletic Center. Those funds have been verified and budgeted for out of the 17-18 rack budget. The total amount, $15,000 for that item.
So
So
moved.
moved. Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Crowell, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, and this is to concur with the administration to waive the bidding requirements of the Romulus Code of Ordinance. Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. Item D also has a couple action items for it. This request is a recommendation from Roberto Scapitici, our DPW director. And the first is a request to concur with the administration, authorize the use of Liquid Force Inc., bid 14/15-03, for the Part 1 of sum of $444,000 to the CCTV and rehab sewer, and those are going in sections 35 and 36 of the city, which happens to be the Oak Brook and Meadow subdivisions. Those funds have been verified and budgeted and are available out of the listed account numbers above.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo. And this is for the sanitary sewer evaluation survey, Oak Brook and Meadow subdivision. Any discussion?
Just a quick,
Mr. Watson.
if I could to Roberto, is this the process where they go in and they put a sewer lining that you showed to us?
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
What we're doing right now is this would be just to collect information in the sewer.
Okay.
So once we collect the information, we would rehab where it would be required.
With that, you
Yeah,
came
with
here
that-
about a month ago and you showed us the
Right, that
liner.
liner technology.
Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Roberto.
Roberto.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. And the second part of that is concur with the administration, authorize the use of OHM to monitor, design, and provide inspection. Total amount, $102,000.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski. And this is to concur with the administration, authorize the use of OHM to monitor, design, and provide inspection in the amount of $102,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item up is E. That's a recommendation that came through Tim Keys, Economic Development Director, and Stephen Hitchcock, our legal counsel. And it's a request to concur with administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to approve the attached proposal for professional engineering services with OHM for the roadway design on E-Course Road reconstruction from Vining Road to Merriman Road, intersection improvements on E-Course Road at Wayne Road, Merriman Road, and Middle Belt Road, and the amount is not to exceed $521,000. And those are funds that have been verified and budgeted out of the construction fund for the Vining Road Extension E-Course account that's listed.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. McCoskey, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the proposal for engineering services. It's the E-Course Road reconstruction. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Kathy?
Ms.
Yes.
Abdo?
Do we have a timeline as to when this reconstruction is going to start? You knew somebody would ask that, right?
They're moving fast, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Tim?
Good evening, Council. There are two projects that are actually ongoing right now with design. One is E-Course, the other is Vining Road. The intent is to have both projects out to bid simultaneous. I know the date is a little fluid, but I think we're looking at the second week of September. Yeah, with the hope that, 30 days after that, the project is awarded. So early October, project is awarded and under construction.
Mr. Wadsworth? Are you finished?
I'm sorry, wait.
You go ahead, I'm still thinking on something.
My question was, where is the revenue stream for the $521,000?
Ultimately, it'll be coming from the from the bonds that are sold. As of right now, what has happened is Seafried, who is our construction manager for the project and for the Amazon development, has actually placed cash into our account, which is
That's a budget amendment later.
budget
so-
item G.
I see.
So,
Okay, fine, thank you.
sure.
You have something else to say, Ms.
Yes.
Abdo?
So is it the plan to have this construction done before the snow hits?
No, the plan is to have it well underway. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is have the construction done by mid-July next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is F, and that's also a request that came through Tim Keys, Economic Development Director, and Stephen Hitchcock, Legal Counsel. And this is to concur with administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to approve the attached proposal. This one's for Wade Trim for the professional design and permitting services associated with the Vining Road project. The amount not to exceed $145,000. Those funds have been verified and budgeted through the construction fund, Vining Road extension accounts that are listed.
So move for the proposal for the engineering services for Vining Road extension.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Choate. This is for the proposal for engineering services, and this is Vining Road extension. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is the budget amendment that is what Mr. Keys was speaking of with the Seafried Development fronting the money, and it's a request to concur with administration, introduce budget amendment 17/18-4, and this is to recognize the contribution from Seafried Development Services for payment of the cost of design engineering for Vining and E-Course roads in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement and construction management agreement for Project Mercury, as known as Amazon now.
I'll make that motion. For
Support.
budget amendment 17/18-4.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. McCoskey. For budget amendment 17/18-4, and that's for the construction fund, Vining Road extension, E-Course construction. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is H. That's a request to concur with administration, introduce budget amendment 17/18-5, and that's to replace the Romulus Municipal Library front doors, $10,380, and replace staff printer, $400, approved by the library board on July 17th, 2017.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for Budget Amendment 17/18-5, Library Fund. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Last item for action is also a budget amendment, and it's to recommendation to concur with the administration for introduction to Budget Amendment 17/18-6. This is to allocate funding for the fire department copier that was not purchased in the 16-17 budget and anticipated to be completed as part of the citywide print management program for this upcoming budget year.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Makowski for Budget Amendment 17/18-6 in general fund. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Under item 6A1, for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1718-3, General Fund Balance. This budget amendment was introduced to council on July 24th, 2017. The amount is $53,618.
So, sorry, Chairman.
Yes, Ms.
I'd like to
Choate.
make a motion that we grant second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 17/18-3 for the general fund balance that was introduced on July 27th.
Did you support that, Ms. Makowski?
Sure, support.
Oh, I thought you said, okay. It's been motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski for second reading and final adoption of the Budget Amendment 17/18-3, and this is for the general fund balance. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. That's the only action item. For your information, there's a notice from Comcast to the residential customers, and then also there's a notice from Michigan Municipal League announcing their annual convention that'll be held in Holland, Michigan, on September 13th through the 15th, 2017. Before I close, I'd like to ask council if you would approve a memorial resolution for Mr. Alvin Dupree, and I'd like to comment after.
So moved.
Motion's made.
Support.
Just, you know, I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Dupree. He worked for the schools for years. I know it was over 30 years, and even after he'd had a stroke, but he still continued to work. Just the most friendliest man. I don't think he knew any strangers, but it was, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and it's really sad that Mr. Dupree has left us this time.
Okay? Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Thanks for doing that, Ellen. I appreciate you bringing that up. Mr. Dupree, he worked in my elementary when I was at the Rommel, which is our police department, and just a great guy. I worked for him. I was one of the workers that worked and cleaned the cafeteria and pushed those big gray barrels and had a lot of fun, but he was a good man. Spent a lot of years for our community, has still family here. I think there's visitations Friday at
Husbands?
Husbands,
Husbands,
and then a
yes.
service on Saturday. So keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. He was a good man.
Yes, he
Thank you,
was.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for a memorial resolution for Mr. Dupree. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Choate?
Yes.
Mrs. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And also, I'd just like to give a shout out, echo everyone else's comments regarding the Relay for Life. It definitely was a great event, and it was just amazing how Romulus came out, and it was a great day. So I was just glad to be a part of it. And then also elections. Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow's election day. So polls open at 7. And there were only 11 polls that are open for this election because it is a school election. There were only 2 items on the ballot, 2 school proposals. And so we hope that everyone will come out if you have not voted an absentee ballot. And if you have an absentee ballot that we sent, you haven't returned it, please return your ballot. You have until 8 o'clock tomorrow to get that ballot back to us so it can be counted. Also, this is the opportunity, also we'll be launching out the new voting equipment. And so we're really excited about the new voting equipment, and we hope that the voters will be as excited as we are. We have a lot of visitors that are coming from our Michigan Bureau of Elections, probably a few people from Wayne County and a lot of clerks. So they're kind of the guinea pigs. I shouldn't say it that way, but but we're really excited about it. Feel very confident regarding the new election equipment. So. Stop by. We hope to see you at the polls tomorrow. Okay. Also, we just want to announce that if you'd like to track your absentee ballot, Michigan, the Secretary of State has a service under michigan.gov/vote. And if you'd like to track your absentee ballot, you can do so by logging on to that website. So it'll tell you when your ballot was sent and whether or not we've received your ballot. So it's a great service. And with that, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome. Oh, and also one other thing, I just have to say this, we had a series of training for a whole month of July on the new equipment. Mayor Burcroft, thank you for your support. And then a special shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Barton. He came to every training class that we had, and we had about 16 classes, but he took the time to stop by and encourage all of our election inspectors. So Councilman Barton, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Burke.
And we know that Ms. Abdo has offered to make mastacholi for tomorrow night, right? So thank you, everyone, for your support, and also to the Chief of Staff, Julie Waitoko. She's been extremely supportive and kind of my little wind beneath my wings there, trying to make sure, anything that we need. So thank you. And that concludes the clerk's report.
Okay, good.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening. I do not have anything under my report, so we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Page.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of the agenda that's set aside for those of you that are in the audience that would like to have comments. If you would like to have comments and you have not already submitted a request, please raise your hand, and after you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium, state your name, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please note that if you have questions for the mayor or council, please note that those questions or answers or responses to your questions will be responded to under unfinished business. And we do not have any written requests.
Okay. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Monroe? Yes.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Can you come up to the podium, Mr. Monroe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad to see all of you. I hope you're all doing well.
Thank you.
I'm back home.
Good.
Right.
Yes, I'm back. I have a request, and I don't know who to take it to now. I have some coyotes next to my home, and the city owns the lot. And I've been trying to get someone to cut it. I miss Mrs. Jean. I understand she retired. And I'd like to know who do I go to have it cut. And other than that, I don't have any other requests, but I'd like to have it done. And if I can get somebody to take that to whoever is responsible for cutting that piece of property, I would love to have them take it to them so it can be done. I'm kind of afraid of coyotes.
I don't blame you.
But I've seen a couple, and I don't know whether they have a nest in there or not, because I'm afraid to go in it. but I'd like to have it cut. Whatever can be done, would you please have it done for me? And may God bless all of you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Any other comments from Ms. Webb?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. 3 minutes. It'll take less time than that. First of all, I would like to thank every participant in the Relay of Life over the weekend. Now, I'm going to say something comical, but I want to get serious first. That was so touching. We bonded. We cried when the opening, of course, our city clerk, now you know, she can sing now. So thank you, Ellen. I cried then, but as soon as they opened up for the walk and they played the song by Ray Charles, I don't think there was a dry eye on the track. I'm hoping that every person in this city who is capable next year to join a team. You have no idea what it feels like when you're out there and you're with survivors. You're also out there with people who have the disease. You're out there with people who had lost loved ones, like my mother from ovarian cancer and my dad from lung cancer. It just makes you really stand back and you reminisce, and you're so grateful because a lot of us out there, we don't have that disease. So we're the ones who need to be out on that track. And so many of our city officials were there. As I said, our clerk, the mayor, Stacy, Mr. Crowd, Mr. Barton, Celeste, Abdo, as well as Mr. Wadsworth. And I thank you all for coming out. Now, I'm going to say something comical. Each hour of the relay, and we were there 24 hours, we dressed, whether it was cartoon character, hero, whatever. Well, Miss Stacy Page and I, we were worn out. So I think it was around 2 a.m., sort of close to it, I decided to stretch out on a hammock, and she had a recliner there. We even had a sofa. And the dew was so heavy. We woke up, we were drenched, we were wet. And when I woke up, I looked up, I seen your wonderful chief of staff and her husband, and I'm thinking, am I dreaming? I knew that she was on schedule to walk at that hour, but when I looked down, I'm like, are those PJs she's wearing? 2 a.m., what do you expect? And of course, Roberto was there. And there is one person here, Roger, thank you. I'm not gonna call this lady's name, but she will know who she is. We harassed her to no end. I was on Team Romulus, Mexico. We had gotten to the point around 3 a.m. You know how you get silly when you haven't had any sleep? And we had the horse heads on, and we had all these costumes. And we would go to this one particular tent, and she would look at us and start screaming because we had to tell her the number of people we had. Every hour on the hour, we harassed her. And I'm sorry. We put her through she was she was great about it. But I just want to thank everyone, but that 24 hours, I tell you, next year, I will make sure that I get up and start walking 30 days before. I take all of my vitamins, but we had a wonderful spiritual time. So I thank everyone for coming out and participating. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the audience? If there's no more comments from the audience, comments is closed.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
We'll address that issue for the Monroes, I believe.
Yes.
Monroe's got the information, so we'll take care of that. Thank you.
Okay.
Number 9 is new business.
Mr. Barton.
Yes, Mr.
If I
Wadsworth.
could, to Mayor Burkhoff, I got a call today from Keith Johnson, Johnson's Lithograph. And I guess on the evening of July the 24th, they found one of their employees unresponsive there. And he could not, he called to thank me, but I mean, he said that the police, the fire department responded. They were a well-oiled machine, and even though everything they did failed, he wants to thank us for the effort. They were totally professional, and they took care of the scene, and they did what they could do. And they appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll make sure we have awesome first responders, and I'll make sure we
Okay.
pass that on.
Without a doubt.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Number 10 is communication.
Yes, Mr. Crowd.
If you're celebrating a birthday in August, I want to wish you a happy birthday and many more.
Thank you.
Number 11 is adjournment.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.